Hi, my name is Wayne Farrell, and in this video I want to talk to you about NLP in education. You see, we have many students from all walks of life who come and take the NLP and life coaching courses, and many of them want to know how they can actually use NLP within education. I think it's really important to know that NLP takes all of our children who you might think of as disenfranchised learners and gives them back the ability of being able to learn. From an NLP point of view, we believe that there are no disabled learners. We believe that every single learner has a capability and has the ability to learn. They're just simply using an inappropriate strategy or an inappropriate representational system. So what do we mean, and how can NLP help in education? Well, the NLP communication model is useful to consider. The child or the student or whichever learner's internal representation will make a major difference in the process of them learning. Let's start from the point of view that everything that you've ever seen or heard or felt, tasted, smelt, or even said to yourself is stored in your nervous system. It's stored in complete and absolute detail, even though you may not consciously be aware of it or may consciously have forgotten about it. That's really important, because when we think of the notion of a child who can't remember the right answer for a test, then the issue is not that they don't have the information available. It simply means that they are not able to access the information. One of the ways to help a person, to teach them to go into the learning state. We teach the learning state during the NLP practitioner course, and the learning state allows us to begin to remember things really well. You see, all learning is state dependent. What other NLP techniques could you use with a child or a student? Well, that depends on how much time that you have to actually work with the person. And I think that teachers and educators are really very well placed to do a great amount of work with our children and students as they spend the most time with them. The fact is that they are authority figures, and as such, the teachers can easily teach the student new skills alongside their normal curriculum. One of the most important things that a teacher should do is to determine whether the student is normally organized or reversed organized in regards to the eye patterns. And that simply means how the child access information in their head. And this is very easily done and can be very useful to the teacher in regards to educating that student. You may also ask a child who has not chosen a dominant hemisphere to do so. And helping the child to do so could help the child greatly. If the child has not yet chosen a dominant hemisphere, you may need to do some things that go bilaterally across the midline of the body. That is to say, going back and forth. You could have them touch their left shoulder with their right hand and their right shoulder with their left hand, and going back and forth several times. The learning state may also synchronize both hemispheres of the brain, and giving them something to do that synchronizes both hemispheres of the brain will allow them to be able to use their perfect visual memory. Once they have a way to access that perfect visual memory, you could teach them the NLP spelling strategy. And this essentially is to simply visualize a word. Ask the child, how do you spell, as an example, success? Now you could break the word success into 2 syllables and write it down in 2 different colors. As an example, let's say we did S-U-C in red, and then put a dot between that, and then C-E-S-S, all in blue, etc. Then ask them to read the word several times. They say the first syllable several times, and then the second syllable several times. Then have them close their eyes and spell it backwards. When they do that, you'll know that they are really visualizing the word, and they will feel great when they manage to spell it both forwards and even backwards. Now these two NLP techniques are really simple for you to teach children. It takes a short period of time and usually you'll get a dramatic increase in their grades. The person, when they earn peripheral vision, has a much greater awareness instead of just being in the usual foveal vision. You see, foveal vision is linked to the arousal of the sympathetic nervous system. This is the involuntary or automatic nervous system associated with activity, adrenaline and stress. Peripheral vision is linked to the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the nervous system associated with relaxation, calmness and healing. In fact, to the extent that you are truly in peripheral vision, you can block anxiety and stress. The two states are physiologically incompatible and can't be held in the same consciousness when in peripheral vision. Often, you'll need to assist the child in getting rid of anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, or other negative emotions like frustration. And timeline therapy is very useful for this, and it can help the child to let go of negative emotions very easily and quickly, as well as get rid of limiting decisions and limiting beliefs. Now, many children have gone through various experiences and may have been told that they were learning disabled or even stupid. Children who are learning disabled are not really stupid. Often they're simply paying attention to other things than to what the teacher wants them to. As a practitioner of NLP and timeline therapy and coaching, it's important to start paying attention to the eye patterns and to use sub-modalities to help the student or the child to make changes. As an example, you could use the swish pattern to help them feel better about being in class. You may want to use dislike to like patterns with a child to assist them in changing some of the internal representations about being in class or learning. The Milton model is very valuable in gaining agreement with the student or the child. Metaphors are marvelous for kids as they love stories. Metaphors are very useful for mature students, therapy or even in business. The use of metaphors can bypass the critical faculty and help the person make new learnings at the unconscious level. Using the meta model is useful to get really specific about certain problems or specifying their outcome. Anchoring can be useful to help the child or the student be able to control their state and be in a positive, resourceful state. Collapsed anchors may be useful for getting rid of problems in school, and chaining anchors could also be useful to get the student off procrastination, get them really fired up and motivated to learn. Strategies and reframing are also useful with a child when you're doing intervention with the child and assisting them in the learning state. Of course, chunking would be very useful in knowing at what level of abstraction the student needs to take in information. Are they big picture or detailed? What is their learning style? Now that is just briefly of how NLP and timeline therapy can be used in education. And as I said, they're really useful and have helped many kids that have been branded ADHD or with other learning difficulties. I would suggest that teachers and educators should learn these skills, as it will benefit both themselves and the students that they teach and have a positive impact on everybody's lives. Remember, if you can believe it, you can achieve it. For more information, please visit our website at www.coachingwithnlp.co just to see how we may be able to assist you